Plenty of clouds with drizzle possible on Wednesday. Good Tuesday night, East Tennessee. David Aldrich, Captain Accurate here from the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. Well, you can see from the Ultimate Doppler Radar, presented by InstaDry, waterproof your basement, crawl space encapsulation, even foundation repair. InstaDry.com, a great website to grab, especially if you're in need of those services. By the way, more showers and storms affecting areas around Maryville this evening, just after 8 o'clock, mainly south of Knoxville, but we have some scattered showers up toward La Follette and Tazewell. This could be considered round 2 because we had round 1 especially this morning, as it affected some areas, especially south of Interstate 40. But it's all working its way towards Sevier County this evening, and once this moves out, we'll see some of this slow down, especially in the overnight. But look at the amounts. The amounts of rain have varied from anywhere from 0.71 around downtown Knoxville to maybe 2 inches or more in parts of Blount County, maybe even 4 in red parts of Monroe County, where they had an aerial flood advisory earlier this morning. So it does vary. It wasn't not an equal opportunity rainfall, but many of us did get some rain, and some of it was, in fact, heavy. Most of the heavier rains toward Atlanta will stay down there. We're still watching Hurricane Idalia. There she is. Now remember, Ian was the eye storm last year. It hit areas near Fort Myers. This will be closer to Tallahassee, well between, say, Cedar Key and Apalachicola, but they're going to get hit by a major hurricane as we move into the overnight period, most likely after midnight and toward the 6 a.m. time frame tomorrow morning, when they're really going to feel that storm surge. But that's what it looks like as of this evening. Tracking the clouds, we have a few of those too. So think of this as maybe a mostly cloudy sky for a while, but then partly cloudy for a good portion overnight with fog potential. Our high temperature today was 3 degrees. I say 3 degrees warmer than what I expected. I thought we'd get to 81. We hit 84. The normal high is 87 this time of year. And notice officially, McKee-Tyson Airport picked up 0.97 inches of rain. Sunsets at 8:08 this evening. We are getting shorter days. They hit 85 in Oak Ridge, but only 77 in Warper. It's a pretty big range. It was 10 degrees cooler from Oak Ridge to up toward Oneida and Jamestown, both at 75 today. It was 81 in Morristown. So temperatures did vary quite a bit. Mid-70s more common today in the plateau. They hit 83 in Johnson City, 89 Nashville, 87 in Memphis, just to name a few. Now, the clouds and the rain obviously getting more numerous down to the south. As Idalia starts to move closer toward Florida, we're going to see more rain filling across parts of Georgia and especially the Carolinas. This could very well make landfall as a Category 3. That's at least winds of 111, all the way up to 129, but it does mark devastating damage. That's the big concern tonight and into tomorrow morning for those of you who might have family down in Florida in this particular area, as they will get hard hit. Let me show you what that looks like. Let's go ahead and show you the circulation. This is about 8 o'clock tonight. You say, well, David, it's in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. Who really cares? Well, it's going to move. It's not going to stay there. And much like a figure skater that pulls his or her arms in, it starts to pick up speed. That's what this is going to do. Watch the colors. The yellow refers to tropical storm force winds, and the orange would be Category 1 force winds, a hurricane. And it really gets tight. It goes from orange to red. Oh, no. That's at a minimum. That's a Category 2. And there's Tallahassee, top of your screen. Gainesville in the east. So really it's that northeast quadrant. That eyeball will be watching as it makes landfall just after maybe sunrise tomorrow morning. That's 6:30 projected here on the modeling. It takes it over toward Valdosta, south of Macon, over towards Savannah by the time we hit about 8 o'clock, 7:45 tomorrow night. That circulation center just battering the beaches from Tybee Island over towards Savannah, Charleston, Myrtle Beach. Don't leave Myrtle Beach out because they'll feel the winds. That means power outages. Wrightsville Beach, Wilmington, Folly Beach, Hilton Head. There's Hilton Head Island. Oh, yes, it's still spinning around Myrtle Beach and Wilmington. And then it takes us toward Jacksonville, North Carolina, the Outer Banks. And there are some indications that this thing will get hung up off the coast of North Carolina. Some even want to bring it back to Florida. I think that's highly suspect. I think it'll kind of get lost its way. It'll eventually get kicked out, but right now we'll be watching it hang out. So here's the spaghetti plots. Each one of these models are pretty clustered or grouped together in the same area between Cedar Key and Apalachicola. But there's always one straggler, one little outlier that wants to take it someplace strange, like, I don't know, Knoxville. I think we can dismiss that solution, but you don't always want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We'll just keep all the other models, right? But some of them do loop-de-loops. Most of them take it between Apalachicola and Cedar Key, really clustered there not far from southeast of Tallahassee. But look at the loop-de-loops. Some of them want to turn it back around. I think we'll have to wait and see, as it will need something to steer it out to sea. Wave heights this evening, 19 to 22 feet. Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, storm surge could be easily 8 to 14 feet in parts of the landfall areas. We'll look at storm surge, but Tampa Bay itself could be 4 to 7 feet. 4 to 7 feet for for storm surge, which can be deadly if you're not taking it seriously. Sea surface temperatures. It's warm like bathwater. They're in the low to mid 80s there, so this thing has every reason to continue to intensify as it approaches areas in northwest Florida. Here's the hurricane flags. We've got those flying down there shortly. Rising motion. We have calm winds in the eye. Rising air within the strong thunderstorms are intense, but we notice the circulation flow spreads inward toward the surface, and the flow spreads outward at certain heights. So that's the hurricane structure in a glance. Of the resulting flow means clear air right over the eyeball. So you got Idalia, eye. Ian last year, eye. The eye of the hurricane, that's an E, eye. And then iPhone, iTunes, everything's eye. We'll be watching how this plays out because a lot of folks will say, hey, I lost my power thanks to Idalia. Watch this happen as we move into tonight, 3 a.m., Category 3. How about midnight? 1:15. So this is strong Category 3, making landfall like so. 105. There's 1. It's Category 1 now by 2 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. So once it hits land, it will slow down, but the damage will certainly be done. This is moving north at 16 right now. Charleston, 60-mile-an-hour winds near Charleston, but some of it could be over the open water. Moves over toward Wilmington. Possibly as early as about 1 o'clock Thursday afternoon, 50-mile-an-hour winds. And then you'll notice the cone gets larger as it moves further out because there's a lot of uncertainty here. So does it loop-de-loop? Does it hang out for a couple of days? We'll watch it. But our biggest concern is the United States tonight and tomorrow. When I mentioned storm surge, water begins to rise above normal sea levels. This is when it's well offshore. I think we're past this stage now. We're past level 1. Let's go to level 2. All the water levels continue to rise, but the flooding and structural impacts begin. Wow. Okay, so now it's bringing on shore. It's like, man, I've got flooding. And look at the trees. Some of them are going down. Let's go to 3. This is when it gets dramatic. Lower air pressure, strong winds push inland, devastating structural impacts because of a strong Category 3 hurricane, and very little can be salvaged, certainly at the ground levels. High rises might be spared in some ways, but you've got so much water and wind damage, it's just a nightmare. No doubt from the storm surge. And here is some estimations. You see a little purple there. That's over 12. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, some of the red areas, 9 to 12 feet. That's estimated. That's in that part of Florida. So we're talking about really between Cedar Key and Apalachicola, really where they're hard hit with the rains too. Now, if you're on the other side, talking over towards Savannah, you could be looking at over 3, maybe up to 6. Some areas around Beaufort, South Carolina, could be in that 6 to 9. So some areas will be watching closely for some very bad storm surge. As I mentioned, Franklin's the other hurricane, but he's not going to cause any problems. He's kind of maybe academic at this point as he spins out to sea and works its way eventually up toward the colder waters, toward the, up toward, not far from England, maybe well west of London for sure. Future rainfall, let's go back home here. I've got my map so far up to the north, I've got to come back here. You can see there's going to be a stripe of purple, which would suggest 4, 5, 6 inches of rain or more from this storm system. So the storm surge and the rain, a double whammy. Clouds, drizzle possible here, though. Less humid sunshine Thursday, but warmer for Labor Day weekend. That is the key. We are now approaching Jose. We could probably mark off Idalia now, but Jose would be what is now tropical depression number 11 out in the middle of the Atlantic, so we are not done with the hurricane season. Usually we see an uptick during this time of year. August 20th, September 10th is when it's most active, and it's come in right on time. Let's talk about the severe weather threat. It's all associated with Idalia in Florida, but we've actually had severe storms today in parts of Idaho, Montana, and Washington state. But the concern for tornadoes, some spin-up tornadoes will be possible in Florida. Not a whole lot here. We're getting some thunderstorms, but nothing severe expected for the rest of tonight. Tomorrow, that area in yellow grows across parts of the Carolinas. Still some spin-up tornadoes are possible from Orlando, Disney World, to Jacksonville, all the way up toward Charleston and Wilmington, North Carolina. Not expecting much anything other than drizzle here tomorrow. That's good news for us, and pretty quiet weather outside of some general thunderstorms on Thursday in the light green areas, but nothing in Knoxville. We'll find ample sunshine by then. So here's how this all plays out. Could you see some drizzle here? Potentially, yes. Not a whole lot, a little bit of green. That's at 12:15 in the Smokies. Some of it wants to bring it in, but it's probably going to turn right pretty quickly. A hard right-hand turn, take it out to sea, keeping it well away from Knoxville and East Tennessee. We're very lucky and blessed in that regard. We'll be in the mid-80s by Thursday, mid-80s on Friday. I think we're in the upper 80s Saturday, and eventually we're working its way toward 90 by Sunday, and even hotter, I think, for Labor Day itself. So a lot to take in. But we'll still see a mostly sunny sky for the holiday weekend. Valley Planner down to about 67 tonight. And we're looking at for about maybe 67, 68, upper 60s. Low temperature normally would be about 66. Tonight, I have us officially at McKee at 68. Evening storms will linger. It'll stay humid, but you'll see a drop in that humidity tomorrow night. 68 Knoxville. But look at this, little cloud clearing in the Jamestown, Crossville area. You could wake up in the upper 50s tomorrow to the tune of 10 degrees. Could be easily 10 degrees cooler there. And they'll have some fog where temperatures drop accordingly. So Wartburg, Crossville, Jamestown, that might be the center of the dense fog tomorrow morning as early as 2:30, 4:30 in the morning. There's 6:30, a little bit in Knoxville as well. But there is the possibility of another foggy start for some in August as we count those fogs in August for people who keep track for winter purposes. They like to count the number of fogs. Perhaps that corresponds with future winter snows. Plenty of clouds. Drizzle possible tomorrow. 83 is what I expect. 83 Morristown, 81 Wartburg, and 78 for Crossville. Looking ahead to your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast. I got lots of clouds tomorrow, but nothing but sunshine. Essentially on Thursday, low humidity. We start the day in Knoxville around 60. But you should be below that Crossville tomorrow morning as you'll see your clouds clear out much faster. Bright sunshine Friday, 88, bright sunshine Saturday. It doesn't really get hot again till the latter part of the holiday weekend, and I think by Tuesday we could be flirting with 93 degrees. You can keep track of it all using the Captain Accurate Weather app with Pete Michaels Traffic. It's free. Just go to the App Store, Google Play. Just search the two words Captain Accurate. You get all the National Weather Service alerts, plus 3 extras, plus the lightning alerts, which are very handy when you're maybe on the lake or at Splash Country or Soaky Mountain over the Labor Day holiday itself. Anyway, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.